Yo, what up, man? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to walk y'all through a photo shoot that I did yesterday of my son. It was total misery for both of us. C-Ron was there, his son Ace, my wife was there. We all were basically just trying to take some photos of our kids. Mind you, we're not photographers. Y'all know that. We do video. C-Ron takes more photos than me, but I don't consider myself a photographer. I don't know anything about strobe lighting. I know a little bit about studio lighting on the video side of things, but on the photo side of things, I don't know anything. So this is gonna be an interesting take on using the R6 in a scenario for somebody who just wants to take some decent photos of their family members. That's basically what we were doing today. Basically what we were doing that day. And it was total comedy at how these kids acted. Like 5 minutes in, it was just a total disaster. But it's some stuff to be learned here. We'll talk about the lighting setups that we used. Also want to talk about the camera setup, the experience using the camera. And also we could talk about some things that I learned, man. The camera that we use for these photos is the EOS R6. I'm using the R6 a lot right now. I'm testing it. I want to do an in-depth review. So the photography side of things is going to be interesting for me to talk about, seeing as I typically talk about video all the time anyways. All right. And when it comes to lenses, we use the Canon 35mm f1.4 L series lens. I love this lens. I love this focal length. If I'm doing photos, if I'm doing video, I'm more than likely going to gravitate towards this lens because 35 is my favorite focal length. Now, y'all just heard me say I don't know anything about strobe lighting or studio lighting setups at all. So I literally just used the lighting setups that I had available to me. I used a lot of aperture lights and I decided to go with the 300X for this particular shoot as my key light. My only problem was I left my dome at home. Slight bars. I had to figure out a diffusion situation for this lighting setup. And also I had to switch around the entire lighting setup that I wanted to originally do because I wanted to do like an overhead butterfly lighting setup with like a clamshell bounce at the bottom. So I went to the trunk and I just went to go see what I had in there. And the thing that saved me was this diffusion kit that I've had in my trunk for years by Digital Juice. Now these things are massive and I never ever use them because every time that I've tried to use them in the past, the wind just picks them up and it literally just scoops them off and they fly into the wind because they're huge. They just pick up wind. It's like a sail for a boat. So out in the public, attaching these to C-stands, even sandbags rarely even help. Like these things just pick up wind. They're gonna take everything with them. All right, so I had this in my trunk. Now, big diffusion is gonna equal a lot softer light in theory, right? Especially on the video side of things. So we decided to test this out. So we got the key light. I also wanted to add in like a hair/backlight. So we used the Aperture LS1 panel. Boom that up above my son, and we had the Nova in the background in case we wanted to change the color of the background at all, but tried a couple different setups. They all looked horrible. Just wanted to go super simple with the studio setup. So it's time to shoot. We get my son Mason in there. He does not want to stand there, and this just reminded me of how horrible it is working with kids. Kids are just terrible. This is where the R6 came in handy though, because the eye tracking autofocus literally just let me allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. I just said, hey, spin around, walk in a circle, walk in slow motion, look at the camera, look at the wall, look at the light. And all I had to do was focus on framing up the shots. Now, while we sit here and check out the photos, let me tell y'all a little bit about the sponsor of this video, SoundStripe. Now, SoundStripe is a library of audio tracks that you can use for your upcoming video projects. Whether it's a short film, a YouTube video, or a client project, you can license these songs at an unlimited amount on the SoundStripe platform, which is pretty tight. It's also very affordable as well. They have a bunch of different plans. They have business plans, standard plans, sound effects plans, which is great. I use the sound effects all the time. As I'm showing you guys these photos right now, you're hearing the camera sound effect from the SoundStripe platform, which is dope. So SoundStripe offers a lot. I've been using it for a while. I really like the tracks. If you guys are interested in checking out the SoundStripe plan, there's gonna be a link down in the description for you guys to click on. You can also use code YCImaging20 to get 20% off of any one of these plans on the SoundStripe platform, which is great. So it's already super affordable. Might as well go get it right now where you can get the extra 20% off. Go check it out, link down in the description. Use code YCImaging20 to get 20% off. So after this disastrous photo shoot, man, here are the things that I learned from it. When you're working with family, you have to be patient. I went into this with the intentions of making a video, yes, but I also had to remember that the prime goal here was to get us some nice photos of our son Mason. He just turned 7. Want to celebrate that. We always document his growth year by year when it comes to birthdays and taking photos. So that was the main goal. Now I had to remember that because it was a point in time where I got legitimately frustrated because I'm thinking about this video that I have to make, and you got to balance the two. So if you're working with family, keep in mind, family is more important than the content that you're creating. All right. The second thing is projects always go wrong. Now, I left my dome at home. I totally had to switch my entire lighting setup that I wanted to do for this video. And as you get into doing projects and client work and pretty much anything when it comes to photography or video, you're going to learn to improvise. Now, it was going to be a way that I was going to make this lighting setup work no matter what. It wasn't ideal. I didn't have a grid, a ton of light spilled to the background. All this stuff went wrong in that aspect and what I planned to do, but I was able to create some decent photos, I would say, with the knowledge of just improvising on set. So stuff goes wrong, man. You got to roll with the punches. And the third thing that I always have to remember when it comes to doing any sort of photo work is editing based on what I'm doing. Now, if I'm editing a photo for my own Instagram account, I'm gonna go super stylistic with it. I'm gonna add blues into the shadows. I'm gonna, maybe add some clarity, and I'm gonna do these really dramatic vignettes to the photos. The fact that these are just family photos and I'm just documenting my son meant that the editing needed to be a lot more simple. These photos pretty much look like how they came out of camera. The only thing that I did was give his skin a softer look, tightened up the shadows and made sure it wasn't super dramatic, and also just softened up the image as a whole. So remembering what you're creating the content for is a huge tip, because not everybody is going to like your editing style. Given this is my son, but I've been in situations where we just did like a photo shoot for my barbershop, and I edited the photos how I would edit my Instagram photos, and they completely hated them. So I had to go back and re-edit them and give them a lot less of a creative look. So remembering the type of content that you're creating is very important. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop it a like. If you're new here to the channel, consider subscribing. I do a bunch of random stuff, photography, cinematography, blah, 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 blah. So go check out the other videos, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm out, y'all. Peace.